To say the military's futuristic F-35 Joint Strike Fighter has a marketing problem is an understatement. Just this week, an Australian think tank called it a jackass of all trades, and compared the Lockheed Martin fifth-generation fighter to a Ponzi scheme, according to a newspaper in that country. There is also plenty of bad press in the United States. The Daily Beast website published a story last week calling the F-35 a billion-dollar war toy, and described the dire state of the aircraft's development with an expletive. The Pentagon's most expensive acquisition program is also its most lambasted. I have never been associated with a program in my 25-plus years of acquisition where the public perception and the reality are so different, Lieutenant General Christopher Bogdan, the program executive officer at the F-35 Lightning II Joint Program Office, said Wednesday. Part of that is our problem for not telling the story. The military now hopes to finally change years of negative impressions by bringing the aircraft, 15 years in development, face to face with the public in 2016, Bogdan said. Airshow crowds in New York City, Las Vegas, Chicago and Fort Lauderdale, Florida, will finally get a close look at the F-35. The Air Force Heritage Flight Foundation, a non-profit group that performs demonstrations and supports the service, has been authorized to show off the fighter throughout the year. Its next scheduled demo is at Luke Air Force Base in Arizona in April. The service will also team up with the Marine Corps to bring a handful of the fighters to an air show in England in July, Bogdan said. Meanwhile, the Marines and the Navy will be bringing news reporters on sea trials this year to talk about the aircraft. The Marine variant of the F-35 was declared combat-ready in July. For our warfighters, there is clearly a role for them to play in advocating for this airplane, and in the past we haven't done a great job of that simply because the airplane was immature, Bogdan said. We were only operating out of a number of locations. The F-35 faces some high hurdles as far as public perceptions and its actual shortcomings. The program ballooned by billions of dollars earlier in the development, which Bogdan said the public has never forgot. Costs have stabilized and come down slightly. The Defense Department now estimates the total acquisition to be $379 billion with a lifetime price tag of $1 trillion during the next 4 decades. The evolving aircraft design also has been plagued by technical problems, including high-tech but heavy helmets that could snap the necks of smaller pilots, buggy systems saw on Tuesday. The Joint Program Office told House lawmakers that an ongoing electronics glitch is causing the F-35 radar system to blink out regularly during flight. The system unexpectedly shuts off and requires a few minutes to reset, on average once every 4 flight hours, versus every 30 hours with earlier versions of software. Lockheed Martin has a proposed fix that will be tested out in the coming weeks, the office said. It's certainly a critical thing. I don't know if I'd want to be a pilot and watch the screen go blank, Michael Sullivan, Director of Acquisition and Sourcing Management Issues at the Governmental Accountability Office, told House lawmakers. The saga of the F-35 also could be a tough sell to service members, said Representative Tim Walz, D-Men. Walz said they might have bad perceptions from seeing the lavish spending on the aircraft and its checkered development record amid the Defense Department's effort to trim back benefit programs for troops. I've been to no less than 14 hearings dealing with changes to military retirement plans, taking away of the housing allowance, transferability of the GI Bill benefit, commissary changes and TRICARE reform, Walz said. The perception out is when the Pentagon needs to save money they go to those programs. Meanwhile, F-35 problems persist and Australia is now reconsidering its purchase of the aircraft, citing 7 years of future fixes needed for bugs in the aircraft's software, he said. I go back home and I talk to soldiers who say, I just lost a GI Bill benefit and now this, Walz said. How do I talk to them about it? In their first visit to the United States since 2008, the Royal Air Force Red Arrows will perform an aerial demonstration next week over the Hudson River, according to an Air Force news release. F-35 Joint Strike Fighters, the Air Force Thunderbirds and Navy Blue Angels demonstration teams will also be part of the show. The demos along the Manhattan skyline will feature a 9-ship Red Arrow formation, 2 F-35A Lightning II stealth aircraft, 6 F-16 Fighting Falcons from the Thunderbirds, and 6 F-A-18 Hornets from the Blue Angels, according to the release. Onlookers should gaze upward at approximately 9:30 a.m. on August 22, according to the announcement. We've never done a Thunderbirds, Blue Angels, Red Arrows flight over the Hudson before, Major Ray Giuffre, spokesman for the Air Force demo team, based at Nellis Air Force Base, Nevada, told Military.com on Friday. Plus, we'll have 2 F-35s in the mix. It should be an amazing sight. Giuffre said that each team will fly along the river in sequence. All aircraft will follow the Hudson River down to Liberty Island, then proceed back up the river, the release states. The Thunderbirds will return to Rochester International Airport, while the remaining aircraft will recover at Stewart Airport northwest of the city. Aviation and F-35A Lightning II fanatics have something special to look forward to this 2016 air show season. The Lightning II qualified March 6 at the Heritage Flight Conference at Davis-Monthan Air Force Base, Arizona, to take part in the Air Combat Command Air Force Heritage Flight Program. The program features modern Air Force fighter aircraft flying alongside World War II, Korean and Vietnam-era aircraft in a dynamic display of our nation's air power history. Being a part of these heritage flights allows the world to learn more about the F-35 and at the same time see just how far air power has come over the years, said Brigadier General Scott Plius, the 56th Fighter Wing Commander. The F-35 will be the backbone of the Air Force fighter fleet and represent the future for the U.S., our partners and allies. This will be a great opportunity for everyone to see how amazing the F-35 is. The F-35 Heritage Flight Team includes 1 pilot and 10 maintainers, all selected from the 61st Fighter Squadron at. My team and I are very excited for this year, said Major William Andriotta, an F-35 Heritage Flight Team pilot. We're so honored to be the first ever F-35 Heritage Flight Team. We are really laying the foundation for years to come. We know it's going to be a great season and we're ecstatic about talking with different communities and showcasing the F-35. The team practiced their entire routine at the conference. The maintainers were able to show off their coordinated takeoff and landing procedures while Andriotta practiced and perfected flying in formation with Heritage aircraft. In the back seat of one of those Heritage aircraft held a very interested passenger. I got to jump into the back of a P-51 Mustang and view an F-35 off the wing, said Lieutenant General Darrell Robertson, Air Education and Training Command Commander. Our F-35 team is ready to hit the road for the show season. It was awesome to see it up close and personal. I feel very confident in what the Luke team is doing here, and I'm excited for them to show this aircraft off to the world. From the opposite perspective, Andriotta experienced flying in formation with Heritage aircraft for the first time during the conference. It's surreal to be flying the latest and greatest fighter aircraft in the world and look over to see fighter aircraft from World War II, Vietnam and Korea right next to you that were at one point the greatest fighters of their generation, Andriotta said. It's like passing the torch in the lineage. Heritage flights are just as incredible on the ground as they are from the air. Viewers are going to get to see a remarkable show, said Master Sergeant Ed Delian, F-35 Heritage Flight Team Superintendent. They will see America's newest technology and compare the advances firsthand. We're going to showcase the past, present and future of the Air Force. The team will travel to 16 air shows around the U.S. and abroad. We're very excited about demonstrating this capability to the world, Air Force Chief of Staff General Mark A. Welsh III said in January when the service first announced the F-35's participation in the Royal International Air Tattoo this summer at Royal Air Force Fairford, England. The F-35 represents a new way of thinking about data integration, weapons and tactics. We're thrilled to highlight the program and the amazing airmen who support this cutting-edge fighter. The F-35 Heritage Flight Team gets to officially start their historic first season at home. Our first show is at Luke, Delian said. It's nice to be able to start at home and showcase what we're all about in front of our friends and families. After that, I'm so excited to get on the road and show the world what we're all about. Luke AFB will present the 75 Years of Air Power Air Show to the Arizona community. Captain Andrew Dojo Olson soared above RAF Fairford, England, piloting an F-35 Joint Strike Fighter during the Royal International Air Tattoo, Riyadh, last July. It was the first time Olson had given aviation geek enthusiasts and skeptics alike a taste of maneuvers the fifth-generation stealth jet can perform at the world's largest military air show. Now, Olson will be showing off those moves and more on tour. This show is going to solidify the F-35 in its rightful place, just as the absolute, cutting-edge stealth fighter jet that's here and it's ready and so capable, said Olson, an instructor pilot and commander of the F-35A Heritage Flight Team. The F-35 Lightning II has been part of the Heritage Flight for 3 seasons and is gearing up for its 4th starting this month, officials said. The Heritage Flight Foundation is a contractor with Air Combat Command and performs across the U.S. and overseas, flying old warbirds such as the P-51 Mustang. But this year is the first time the F-35 will have a breakout role in the 30-minute, full-narration air show, with its own 13-minute demo featuring state-of-the-art aerobatics. We're going out there to showcase the jet, and we're doing it fully aerobatic, fully showcasing the maneuvering envelope of the F-35, Olson said. That means a minimum of 16 maneuvers, including rolls, loops, high-degree bank turns, and inverting to be fully upside down, among other actions. There will also be 2 new passes with the older warbirds, including a fun bottom-up pass where the audience can see the. Olson said the show pulls from the strengths and maneuvers of multiple airframes that came before the F-35. For example, the F/A-18 Super Hornet is very impressive at a slow speed capability, being able to do things like a square loop, and the F-16 Viper demo is very fast and agile, he said. Audiences will be able to see the F-35 do both. The F-35 will be able to power out of other maneuvers more swiftly because of its F-135 engine, which propels it with more than 40,000 pounds of thrust, Olson said. He will perform a pedal turn similar to the F-22, in which the F-35 banks and climbs high, eventually simulating a somersault-like move. But Olson will not use thrust vectoring or manipulate the direction of the engines to control altitude or velocity. This is really just a testament to the design and the flight control logic that's built into the jet. And all these maneuvers are repeatable under all conditions, no matter what kind of temperature or elevation. All these maneuvers. For the first 3 seasons, we wanted the public to see the F-35, but it wasn't fully ready, Olson said, meaning that not every jet used for demonstrations was configured to the latest Block 3F software. The F-35 program involved concurrent production and test. There was a little extra amount of testing still left to do, and software and hardware modifications. That restricted pilots to a maximum of 7 grams forces, but now Olson can pull a full 9 gs if he wishes, and he has. During the Riyadh show in July, Olson climbed to a full 9 grams configuration because that specific jet was fully capable. But he said he still wasn't performing the high banking maneuvers he now can for the upcoming season. Olson and a small team at Luke have been working on the first of its kind show since December.